Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about whether or not we need more mature programmers in software development. So let's get into it. So basically the question here was, do we need, like I had a discussion with a person on the comment section. We were talking about that favorite topic of mine, tooling, and when to use the right tool and when to opt into things and when not to opt into things. And I basically got this question whether or not we need more people with a more mature mindset regarding just software development. And depending a little bit on how you define it, I would say that maturity is a kind of big and broad term. I'm not sure if that's a perfect fit for the thing that we were talking about, but basically the thing that this person was asking was regarding this idea that new is always better, and basically we had this discussion regarding what type of tools to add in as a part of an old video of mine, like adding dependencies and what dependencies that I use. And there was a lot of questions regarding fairly modern tooling, and this person was surprised to hear that I don't use there's quite a lot of things that a lot of people are hyped about these days that I don't actually use as part of my own workflow. And I just explained that it's nothing against the tool themselves, the tools that are being developed. It's rather about how the best way to put this is that it's about making an informed decision and understanding, like, the way that I see it is that if we're going to talk about maturity, then I don't know if this is the right word for it, but you can define it yourself. But there is a lack of something amongst quite a lot of programmers these days, and that is that they pick a tool based on a sales pitch for quite a lot of the times. They watch tech talks and they get sold a tool. That's the perspective. But the way that I see it is that it should be the reverse. Like, in other words, they should have a problem that they currently can't really solve in a nice fashion, something that is causing harm to their development process. And when they identify that problem and they feel like, yeah, this is really bad, I wonder if there was a way for me to solve this, then they should go searching for the tool that they actually need in order to do this. And that's the thing that doesn't really happen. And I don't know if this is necessary. I don't think this has so much to do with necessarily maturity. Well, maybe it is a form of maturity. But for me, it's more of a perspective on what it is that you actually do. Because the thing is that adding more tools and having people who add dependencies left and right. I mean, we have these people are absolutely everywhere. They're in front end, they're in back end, they're in operations. Like, there's tons of these people. You get the people who get excited about the tool rather than about solving the problem that they have in an efficient manner. And that's the thing. I mean, it's I don't really get it. It's I think, yes, to this question, if we define maturity as that, I really do think that we do need more of these people. I really do. I mean, it's not about not wanting to work with new tooling. We shouldn't have people, because there's quite a lot of people out there who are, I mean, they don't want to adopt new things, not necessarily because they are making an informed decision, but rather because they have become complacent, and we don't want that either. But what's really dangerous is that we have this, and this has happened, I don't know, it's happened since forever. It feels like that anyway. It feels like it's been forever since we started getting this idea. I mean, it's gotten really, really out of hand in my world these last couple of years, because now it's basically especially in front end, I think this is hilarious, where people will on the one side of the conversation advocate performance and page load times and things like that, but then you just, if you look at their dependencies, they have a shit ton of libraries and convenience tools or current convenience libraries that give no other benefit than things subjective value to their own work process. It doesn't affect the end user in any way, but they still use it. Like it's pointless code that they add in that's like destroys the work, like the page load time, which has an actual proven impact on the users, but still they use it, and it's like it's almost a it's almost to the point where it's religious. I can't even have a conversation with some people regarding this and saying that state that, well, if you don't use this, you can still do certain thing. You can still like live without this, and your problem isn't going to go. It's not going to solve a problem for you that you don't really have a solution for today that works in pretty much the same fashion, but without all of these downsides, and they just won't hear it. And I don't know, because it's not a matter of that it can't be solved in an efficient manner without with almost no problems. There are trade-offs to these tools that people are using, and there are trade-offs to not using them. But what I find so weird is that it feels like we're more willing to add in a tool than we are to just say, no, I don't think this is a good idea. We should be a little bit conservative here. And maybe it's just me, but I really do feel that we should have more people like that, because the end result is pretty much always the same. At least from what I can see. The project will start, like you will add more and more dependencies as you go along, and you have all these ad hoc tools that you add in, and people don't really think about what they're doing, and all of a sudden you have delays and bugs and issues related to either tool incompatibilities, or you have issues with performance, or you slow down your development velocity because you built up a suite of tools around a system that has grown increasingly complex to such a point that the main problem is now not just to understand the tool, but to understand the code base, the work process, the legacy, and the tools all in one big pile, right? And that's something that not a lot of people consider, because you see, the more stuff you add, the more stuff you need to learn when you have new people coming in, and you need to keep all these to keep track of all of these things. The worst case scenario is if you want to do something that can't be done with that specific tool that you pick. So you really need to. I really do think so. I really do think that we need more people who can make an informed decision about some stuff, because some tools are truly useful, but some of them are, it feels like we added them for no other reason than that one or two people had a slight improvement to their emotional state or their personal workflow. And that in my world is just not good enough. That's in my world a very immature, well, I'm not going to say unprofessional, but it's borderline, it's less professional, I would say, than it is to consider the big picture when you're picking your tech stack. So what I want you to take away from this is basically that, yes, if we define maturity as that we need people who really stop and think about what they're doing and truly understand their profession and basically what's good for the project and the company and the business and all of this good stuff, as opposed to hopping on the hype trains and basically clinging to every word that is spoken by the tech bloggers and stuff like that, then yes, I think we need more people like that, because currently, and maybe and this isn't true just for the juniors, this is true for quite a lot of even mid-level programmers. There's too many people these days, I think, that just push and hype yet another, especially in JavaScript land, yet another almost pointless library or practice. And then all of a sudden everybody talks about that as this is something that needs to be migrated to immediately. And all that happens is that you add yet another dependency to your tech stack, and you create more inconsistency in your code base when you were doing just fine a day ago, like a few weeks ago. And most of the time you're not actually fixing a problem. You're just adopting a new practice for no other reason than that somebody told you to do so. Have a great day.